It was a Saturday morning when Sophia Brown, the HOA president, decided to tell me exactly who was in charge. "I've already booked it for 40 of my guests this weekend," she snapped at me, her voice cutting through the calm afternoon air. It echoed across the glassy surface of Lakewood Estates like a warning shot. She stood there on the dock, sunglasses gleaming like flashing red lights. Arms crossed her stance like a queen surveying her kingdom. I, on the other hand, stood there on the deck, swirling my whiskey, trying my best not to show how annoyed I was. My Yacht Serenity, 60 feet of pure luxury, glimmered behind me, all polished chrome and freshly waxed decks. Peaceful, serene, until Sophia decided to make her grand entrance. "Funny thing, Sophia," I said, finally setting my glass down, making sure my voice was calm, the kind of calm you use when you're about to drop a truth bomb. "That yacht, the dock you're standing on, even this marina—" I paused, watching her face tighten. "They all belong to me." I could see the disbelief flicker in her eyes, followed by that sharp, venomous smile of hers. I could tell this was going to be a fight I didn't want, but a fight I was going to win. Lakewood Estates was supposed to be my quiet paradise. After 25 years of corporate mergers, balance sheets, and all the stress that comes with it, I thought I'd finally found peace. A home overlooking a lake, mornings with coffee by the water, afternoons, tinkering with my boat evenings, with the only sound being crickets by the shore. I earned that peace after decades in the finance world, right? When I bought my house, Lakewood Estates looked perfect on paper. A gated lakeside community 30 miles from Denver. Elegant homes, a private dock, a man-made lake. It was everything I wanted. But like all things that seemed too perfect, there was a catch. Sophia Brown was the catch. She had been the HOA president for 7 years, and I quickly learned what that really meant. Power. Absolute power. She ran the HOA with an iron fist, her inner circle a group of wealthy retirees who didn't just enforce the rules, they created them. A new paint color. You needed Sophia's approval. Too many lawn flamingos. Fine. Too many Christmas lights. Fine. I started to see the real community spirit she was selling. It wasn't about harmony. It was about doing what Sophia Brown said. At first, I tried to stay out of it. I paid my dues, waved at the neighbors, and stayed on my yacht. Life was simple. But everything changed the day Sophia noticed serenity. One morning I was down at the dock polishing the yacht, feeling like the king of the world, when I heard the unmistakable click of heels behind me. There she was, arms crossed, giving me a look that could cut glass. "That's new," she said, eyeing my yacht like it was a crime scene. "Sure is," I replied, trying not to smirk. Her gaze swept over it, and then she said, "It's impressive. Very community-spirited of you." Community-spirited, I couldn't believe it. She then told me that all boats in the Lakewood Marina were shared assets of the HOA, and she expected me to start giving lake tours soon. I laughed. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. A week later, there it was in the HOA newsletter, an official notice about the marina sharing program. I nearly choked on my coffee reading it. Shared amenities. She was talking about my yacht, my marina, my private property, as if it were some public pool that anyone could dip into. I tried to stay calm. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe she didn't know about the legal ownership, but I knew better. Soon enough, I received a note from her. She wanted my yacht's availability schedule for the HOA's reservations. This was getting absurd. And when I called her to set her straight, she pulled the HOA rules or law card on me. I called my lawyer, Daniel Pierce, who assured me she was bluffing. There was no bylaw that could let them commandeer my yacht. But ignoring Sophia was like ignoring termites. You didn't see the damage until it was too late. Before long, she'd turned the whole neighborhood against me. People started gossiping. A neighbor named Jeff stopped waving at me. It didn't take long before the HOA meeting came. I was ready for it, or so I thought. Sophia stood at the front of the crowded clubhouse, smiling like she'd already won. She presented her community sharing initiative like it was a gift to the neighborhood. When I stood up to object, she dismissed me with that sweet, condescending smile, and the motion passed 67 to 33. I wasn't backing down, though. The next morning, I sent them a letter, a legal one. I wasn't playing her game. The marina was private property, and any attempt to access it without my permission was trespassing. But Sophia wasn't done yet. No, she escalated. Less than 12 hours later, I got another notice accusing me of obstructing community access. Emails, whispers, gossip. She had everyone in the neighborhood against me. It was war. The following week, Sophia showed up at my dock again with her inner circle in tow. They were there for a marina inspection. I stood my ground. "This dock is private property," I said. "You're trespassing." That shut her down, at least for the moment. But I knew Sophia wasn't the type to retreat quietly. She regrouped, and soon enough the HOA was planning its next move. Then came the event, Sophia's so-called community yacht day. She invited 40 guests to my marina, setting up a full-on party with music and BBQ on my dock like I wasn't even there. I couldn't believe it. I marched down, coffee in hand, and when she saw me, she smiled that fake, sugary smile. "You'll be happy to know your yacht's going to make quite the splash," she said. I didn't smile back. "Get off my dock, Sophia," I said, my voice steady but cold. She didn't listen. Instead, she told me I was being ridiculous, that she had every right to do this because the HOA had voted on it. I told her in no uncertain terms that this was private property. She smirked, thinking I wouldn't follow through, but this time I wasn't backing down. I pulled out my phone and called the sheriff's office. "I have 40 trespassers on my private property," I said calmly, watching Sophia's face fall as the police rolled up. By the time the deputies arrived, the crowd scattered and Sophia's plans came crashing down. The sheriff's deputies, after a quick inspection, confirmed I was in the right. Sophia, the queen of Lakewood Estates, was dethroned. But she wasn't finished. She harassed me with daily fines, absurd accusations, and continued her campaign to make my life miserable. Yet the more she pushed, the more I pushed back, collecting evidence, keeping track of every violation, every threat, every false claim. Eventually, her empire crumbled. The neighbors turned on her, and the HOA board voted her out of office. The new board, led by Harold White, couldn't have been more different. The fines stopped, the threats stopped, and I got my marina back legally, finally. Sophia, though, didn't take her loss gracefully. She tried to make her last stand, but it was too late. Her own son was caught attempting to vandalize my yacht, and her lies unraveled in front of the entire neighborhood. She was publicly humiliated, and the charges kept piling up. By the time everything was over, she'd lost her home, her reputation, and her power. The last I saw of her, she was quietly moving out of Lakewood Estates like a ghost who didn't know she was dead. In the end, justice was served. But the most important lesson I learned wasn't about the law. It was about standing your ground when everything feels stacked against you. And trust me, Sophia, she'll never forget me. So here's the thing. How far would you go to protect what's yours? Would you let someone walk all over you, or would you fight back? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video. Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.